Greetings everyone, this is Jim Todd with Video Surgeon, and in this week's video tip we're going to talk about a strategy for working with DVDs. DVDs can be a challenge for a couple of reasons. First of all, a DVD consists of several different files that are all sort of knitted together, and when you play a DVD in your DVD player, it's just one continuous playback. But when you actually open the files up, and if we look here in the Video TS folder, you can see we've got 6 different VOB files, and all of those sort of knitted together comprise this one DVD. So one of the challenges is you don't know where the video segment or the segments of the video are that you are interested in. It could be in any one of these, or likely it's in a combination of them. The second thing is the size of these files. If you look at them, yeah, we have one here that's 232 kilobytes, which is tiny. It's probably an introductory clip. This one that's 5.6 is probably the same. But look at this, 1,000 megabytes, in other words, a gigabyte. And if you try to open that in Video Surgeon or any other program, it's going to take a while to open it up, and if you need to do anything with it, like export to create something new, it's going to take quite a while also to export and do that. So there are some challenges in working with DVDs, and what I wanted to show you today is a strategy or a way in which you can hopefully go through each of these VOB files once, find the pieces that you're interested in, and then put them all in the same file, so you can condense all of these VOB files into a single file that you then export and have, and you can reopen and use, and you're not going to have 2 or 3 or 4 gigabytes of data, but you might have a couple hundred megabytes. So that's what I'm going to show you today. So to start with, what we're going to do is we need to open one of those VOB files, and I'm going to use Windows Explorer. If you have Mac, you can use your Finder. If you go to the Video TS folder here, which is what we were just looking at, you'll see these different VOB files, plus some other files, but the VOB files are the files that we're interested in because those do contain the video. So here they are, and I don't want to open one of these gigabyte files because it'll take quite a bit of time, but let's open this one here, for example. So what I prefer to do rather than rip is just to drag this to the interface. And when I do that, Video Surgeon will open this file. And as you can see, starting to do that right here. This import dialog box is a little bit underneath this other window that's open, but now it's importing. It's opening it up. You can see down here this progress indicator means it's rendering the audio. And now it has opened it up, and it's playing for us on the screen. Okay, so the concept here is that if you open a VOB file up, and we're again just using this as an example, but let's say there's a piece of this that you're interested in. So let's delete everything else that we're not interested in by highlighting it, hitting the delete, and it leaves us with a piece here that we're theoretically interested in. Okay, so we have sort of gotten rid of everything else that we don't want. We just have this piece open. So the next thing then is to open another instance. So we click that, and just let me switch gears here then. So we open this other instance of Video Surgeon, and then let's go back here and let's open the next VOB file. So this next one is 355 megabytes. It's almost a half a gig, so it's going to take a while to open. But let's go ahead and do that. As you can see, we're starting to import here. It's going to take a little bit of time, but it's moving reasonably quickly. And now it's done importing the video, so now we just have to render the audio, and then we'll be good to go. So now we have this second instance of Video Surgeon open, and we have this second VOB file open. Now let's say, and again this is just an example, but let's say there's a segment here that is of interest to us that we'd like to keep because we want to watch it again and learn it. So we can highlight it using this selection tool at the bottom. We can click copy. Okay, so we copy that to the clipboard, and then I'm going to minimize this, or resize it I should say, And we'll go back to the first instance then, which we had open. And here we can then paste. As you can see, we've just pasted that data from the second instance into the first instance. Okay, so now we have that data plus the data that we had saved from this first instance. So now let's go back to the second instance. Here it is. And let's say that we watch this whole thing and there's another part over here, let's say, that we're interested in. So we can again highlight that piece. We can copy it. We can minimize this instance. We can go back to the first instance. And here again we can paste. And by the way, the insertion point is the location of the progress indicator. So here we're pasting everything at the beginning. So every time we paste it in, it'll shove all the data to the right in terms of a time frame. So here again we paste. And now we've got 1, 2, 3 different pieces. So I think you begin to get the idea here of what we can do. So we can continue to go back and forth between these two instances. We can copy whatever piece of data we want from this instance. And once we've gone through the whole VOB file, and let's say we've taken 2 or 3 pieces out, we could then more or less just discard it, and we can then go back to our DVD, go to the next VOB file. In this case, we might want to do one of these big ones. We could grab it, drag it onto the interface, let it open, and I'm not going to go through that process because it will take some time. But once it opens, then you can go through this VOB file that you've opened, which would be the third one now. You can play it back, and as you're playing it, if you find things you're interested in, you can copy those things. And once you've copied them to your clipboard, just like we did here by highlighting it, copy it, then you can minimize this, go back to the first instance again, and you can paste them in here. So you can continue to work between these two open instances of VideoSurgeon and use one as sort of the foundation or the baseline and paste pieces into it that you want to keep, and use the other instance as a way to open each of these VOB files one at a time, keep what you want, find it, paste it into this one, and then once you're all done, you have, let's say, 10 or 15 different pieces that you've pasted into this first instance. What you would then do is go up to the export button, you would export the entire video, specify the file format, and click OK, and VideoSurgeon will then export this whole thing, and it will create a brand new file. And once you have that new file, essentially everything that was of value to you on the DVD that you've watched, you've copied and you've pasted into this file, and now you no longer need to worry about or open that DVD if you want to get something from it, because everything that you have has now been consolidated into this single video file that you've created. So with that, we'll conclude this weekly video tip for VideoSurgeon. Thanks for watching.